Hey folks, Jonathan here. Wanted to get started on this bed before the county come condemned it. Don't look too good, does it? So I think what I'm going to do, first things first, is take a big hammer and just straighten out some stuff a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead, I need to get 9 inches out of it. But my plan is, I need to do a radius on the bottom, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, on the standard Model A beds, when this comes down, it's got a really nice bend to it. Radius that goes around. And I don't know what size radius, I don't have a way of measuring it, but I plan on doing a radius. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a piece of pipe and split it and just use quarters of it. But I think what I'm going to do is a 90 on the brake. But I'm going to do it like 9 times at 10 degrees or possibly 18 times at 5 degrees. And we're just going to spread them out and do a radius all the way around and see if I can make it look, you know, half decent. That's how we're going to do the bottom on each side of this bed. And I think what we'll do is probably do it first. Now I think I'm going to go ahead and shorten the bed up down to the shorter style. They made 2 styles. One was 56 and one was 47. Or 55 and 47, or 55 and 48. You'll hear different things, but within an inch anyway. So we're going to go down to 47 or 48 inches. We're going to narrow it up 9 inches because it's got to fit, you know, where it's supposed to go. So we'll probably go ahead and do that first, and then we'll go ahead and I'm going to do some test pieces for that radius on the brake, and I will show you that. And we're going to try to make this bed look a little more presentable before the day's up, and slide it up through there. And I should have a frame here tonight. I wasn't going to start with an original frame, but a buddy of mine is grabbing one for me, and it's a complete frame, original. And I think I'll probably just use the front horns and the cross member in the front, and maybe some, you know, a few things in the back. We're not going to use the entire frame, but you know, because it's got to be longer anyway. But we're going to use part of it, and that'll be a good start, and keep me from having to buy extra steel that I really don't want to buy and can't afford to buy right now. So the bed is what we're working with, and we're going to use a heavier gauge steel for the bend around it. My brake will do 16 gauge, 6 foot long. Now tonnage wise it would do more than that, but my dies are not wide enough to do a heavier plate than that. You know, I can do narrow stuff 1/4 inch, no problem, but really I need some wider dies. The radius is too tight, but it does good for what it is. I like it. I don't have any problems with it. It does exactly what I need it to do. So anyway, let me get a big tire hammer and beat that front back in a little bit. Try to get a little straighter. Beat this over a little bit, get it a little straighter, and just get it a little bit more presentable for me to sit here and look at and get ideas on. Okay folks, we have narrowed it up 9 inches, and here's the piece we cut out. I cut out the piece that had there were some holes in it, and that way if I decide to use that panel, we can use it. And I may or may not. I'm going to get it up here to the back of the cab and see what it looks like width-wise. Okay folks, here's what we've got so far. Width-wise we're fine. Figuring what I'm probably going to do, we're going to drop that 36 Plymouth drop axle, round tube drop axle in the front, and the frame will come back, and then it's going to kick up right here. We'll leave it below the body here, and when it kicks up, that'll lower our back, and then the drop axle will lower our front, and that should get us plenty low enough, and we'll strengthen everything up to handle that straight 8. A couple things on the bed I'm not liking. Well, one thing, width is fine. Don't have a problem with that. That would work out really well. Don't know height wise where it's going to go yet, but we'll figure that out. But I don't like the angle. You know, this body line's going in, down and in, and this body line's coming out. So we would have to change that. And when I say change it, just change. I could cut them off, flip them over, or do something with them. I could slice them and bend them in. They're pretty heavy supports, but you know, all we've got is the front ones right now, one on each side, and then we've got pieces of the back here, went down to the fender, and then we got our other rusty pieces. So, you know, it's not a problem to build whatever we need to build, but I just don't like this angle going this way and this angle going this way. So, don't see it as a problem. We just gotta do something about it. But before we do that, I think I'm going to go do some test fitting on, or some test bending, CAT scan on the bottom. See what we can get figured out. I've got it marked where we're going to cut it. You know, that's what we're taking off of it. Now to bring it down to 4 foot, and it's narrower than 4 foot inside, but it's 4 foot to the outside. So it's going to work pretty well. I like it. So. Alright, let me get at it, see what we can get figured out. You know, I think last night in the dark somebody come and tried to steal this truck. My vice grips was off and the door was open. But me being smart like I am, I had the motor turned around that way. Didn't have to worry about it starting up. Okay folks, what we're going to start with here is we're going to do 5 degrees. We'll do it 18 times and see if that brings us close to a 90, and just see how bad it looks. You know, see if it looks like it's going to be kind of rounded, or if it just looks kind of stupid. But I don't know. Never tried it, so we're going to give it a try either way. Alright, let's get her done. Okay, so I got it set up to 5 degrees to the best of my ability. In other words, I bent a piece and moved it and changed it until I had it at 5 degrees. Now, the piece I bent was narrower than this piece, so it may not come out perfect. Also, when I go to do a big piece, it's probably going to even be different. But we can always go back, you know, again. But we're going to try this out and see what it does. Oh, let me see. Looks like I started this in. Let's find my glasses here. My thing's a little easier. Really nice radius, but not far enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust it and then go back over them one more time, see if we can bring it to a 90. Got a ways to go, so I was a little light on it. I figured if I was light on it, it'd be easier to keep bending farther. But I'm not feeling much for bumps. It feels pretty good. I think I went too much. I did. I should have just went lightly with it, but it gives us an idea of what we can do. So I'm going to back it off. I do win a full turn. I'll back it off about a half a turn, and then we'll go ahead and set up and do our regular one. Now it's not going to bend it as far because we're going to be doing a 4 foot piece instead of a 6 inch piece. But that's the radius that I'm looking for. It's not exactly perfect. Now you could take a pretty heavy steel. You could actually take a sander and get that smooth to where it would be rounded. You could get them little bit of bumps out. I mean, you can barely feel them. Should be able to see them there on camera, but that's the plan. That's how we're going to do our bed sides. That's how we're going to get our radius, and I think it'll work out good.
back it off a little bit. And I've got an idea in my head that I can get her done. So let's get the pieces cut. I'm going to go ahead and adjust this so I don't forget to, and move on. Alright. Okay folks, I got both pieces how I want them. Get a little hammer and stuff to get them exactly right, but that's going on the bottom of that. I'm going to curve around. So what I'm going to do next, start cleaning up the bottom of the bed. Probably cut it long ways with the plasma. Go ahead and get that cut. And oh, let me see, I don't know, the bed might come apart. There's 2 bolts in it. I don't think it's made to come apart. It's not. Just welded here. And there's no bolts on this side, so we'll leave it together. A little bit of a pain to work with like that, but it's okay. I could have left it apart there, but I needed to do some other measurements, so that's not a problem. So anyway, figure out what we're going to do and how we're going to do it, and get it cut, and start getting these panels in there. And like I said, I think they'll work out good. And like I said, they are definitely heavier than the regular sheet metal, so that's what I made all the floors of the last cars that I've done out of. I'm getting low on the stuff. I should have enough to do this one, do the floor. I'll just have to patch it in smaller pieces. I think I've got one piece that I can do the inside of the bed with, and unless I decide to just throw some wood in there, but probably put steel because it'll last longer. Don't worry about it rotting out. So anyway, so let me see what I can get on, and we got to try to make this look a little bit more presentable before the day's up. All right folks, I don't know who ordered them and sent them to me, but I sure appreciate it. Nice set of hammers, dollies, and here's my one of my old ones, and messed up. We're gonna do a CAT scan on them. What do you think? They work? I passed the CAT scan. All right, thank you. Okay, so we've got our first side here clamped up and ready to cut with the plasma. We're down 10 inches, and that should be able to put our row under that and it come out pretty good. So we're going to do that, and we're going to twist this whole side back around and get it right. I'm hoping it's not going to rain. I mean, it feels like it and looks like it, but I'm hoping it's not. All right, okay folks, cut it out. I went down 10 inches and added my piece on. I don't like it. It's too deep for this particular application, so we're going to take a couple more inches off and raise it up some. See what it's going to look like. It's just too tall in comparison to the size of it. So what we're going to work on now. Clamp it one more time, cut it, and I don't know, we'll bring it up a couple inches anyway and go at it. Now on this side front there was a spare tire mounted on this particular bed. That's why there's extra brackets there. And I just left them on, temporary until to help me line things up. Anyway, so let me go up about 2 inches, and then I'm going to tack it in place. Go ahead and start getting it lined up decent, because I know I'm not going to go any more than that. That'll be plenty. So, all right, so we got one on, tacked on, working on the other side. All right folks, we got the bed halfway together. It's not as together as I wanted it, but the floor's in it. Got to do a little work on the radiuses. Still got to do a lot of welding, a lot of straightening, but it's getting there. Haven't cut the back off yet, so it's going to work out when it's done. It's probably going to be maybe a little bit higher, and then there's pieces that go in the bottom to hide underneath, because it looks really short on the sides, but when you look inside the bed it's not that short. So it's the way the radius is, it makes it look that way. So anyway, back at it tomorrow. Appreciate everybody watching. Oh, wait a minute, Scott showed up and brought something. Okay, so we got an original A-frame here, and we want to use the front cross member, probably the center cross member, and a little bit of pieces and parts of it, the frame horns on the front. So it's a good start for what I need, and we'll get on it pretty soon. And it's not going to be nearly long enough with the with the straight 8 engine stuff. So anyway, bed's coming along. This is all just temporary to hold the bed where I want it, nice and straight. But the size is where it's going to be, and all that. So it's coming together. It's coming together slow, but we'll be back on it tomorrow. Appreciate everybody watching. Till next time, bye.